There's a moment, often quiet and unnoticed, when you look at your life and feel something missing. You've achieved things. You've checked boxes. Yet deep down, there's a whisper that says, it's not enough. And worse, I'm not enough. This feeling doesn't always scream. Sometimes it's just a dull ache. You scroll through your phone, compare yourself to others, and wonder why everyone else seems more confident, more successful, more together. You carry a subtle shame, like you're pretending to be someone who has it figured out, all while battling this inner voice that insists you're falling short. But here's the truth. Feeling not enough is not proof that you're broken. It's proof that you've been conditioned to believe a lie. From an early age, many of us are taught that our worth is something we earn. Be a good student, get praise. Perform well, earn love. Follow the rules, avoid rejection. Over time, you begin to tie your identity to what you do, not who you are. Your value becomes performance-based. And anytime you slow down, fail, or simply feel human, that fragile sense of self starts to crack. Social media only adds fuel to the fire. You're bombarded with highlight reels, constant wins, curated perfection. You compare your behind the scenes to someone else's best moments, and somehow you always come up short. The measuring stick is invisible but ever present, whispering that you're not smart enough, attractive enough, talented enough. Just not enough. But let's pause here. Let's ask, where did this story come from? Who wrote the rules that made you think your worth was conditional? Chances are, it wasn't you. Much of our inner dialogue is borrowed, passed down by parents who were also insecure, by teachers who judged, by a culture obsessed with achievement. You didn't choose this voice. It was planted in you. And now, without questioning it, you've accepted it as truth. So here you are, believing that if you just work harder, become better, earn more, love more, fix everything, then you'll finally be worthy. Then the emptiness will go away. But it never does, because the voice keeps shifting the goalpost. The first step to reclaiming your worth is realizing that it's not something to chase. It's something to uncover. It's already there, buried beneath years of noise and pressure. And to find it again, you don't need more effort. You need more honesty. Honesty to admit how much it hurts. Honesty to face the root of that inner voice. Honesty to begin choosing a different narrative, one that doesn't measure your value by your output. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into how this inner narrative formed and how you can begin rewriting it to find peace, confidence, and real self-worth. Let's go back to where the story really began. Maybe you don't remember the first time you felt less than. Maybe it was subtle. A teacher's cold remark. A parent's disappointment. A friend who made you feel replaceable. It doesn't have to be dramatic to be damaging. Over time, these small moments stack up. A glance, a sigh, a silence. And your young mind, hungry for connection and approval, starts creating meaning. I must not be good enough. Something is wrong with me. You internalize it. It becomes your lens. And here's the thing, our minds are brilliant storytellers, but they're not always honest ones. Once a belief is formed, we start filtering the world through it. That one childhood mistake? Proof that you're a failure. That breakup? Evidence that you're unlovable. That rejection email? A reminder that you're not talented enough. The brain craves consistency. So, when you believe you're not enough, it will keep feeding you moments to confirm it, even if they're not true. And what's worse? You begin to live for others. You overachieve to earn praise. You people-please to avoid rejection. You shrink your voice, your needs, your dreams, because somewhere deep down, you've convinced yourself that just being you isn't worthy. But that's the lie. You were never born broken. You were born worthy before the noise, before the expectations, before the world handed you a measuring stick and said, "Prove yourself." This realization can feel uncomfortable at first. Because if you weren't the problem all along, then what was? Maybe it was the systems around you. Maybe it was the wounds passed down by others. Maybe it was simply the human need to feel safe in a world that often demands perfection. So, what do you do with this truth? You begin to heal. Healing starts with awareness. You start noticing when that old voice creeps in. You pause. You question it. You ask, is this actually true? Or is this an old wound speaking? Slowly, you stop accepting every self-judgment as fact. You stop letting shame run your life. You also begin treating yourself differently, not with fake positivity, but with honesty and compassion. You learn to parent yourself, to hold space for your pain, to say, I hear you. I see you. You're doing your best. That kind of inner voice? That's the one that rebuilds self-worth from the inside out. And no, it doesn't happen overnight. But each moment you choose presence over perfection, softness over shame, you begin to shift. The next part is about rewriting the story, the practical steps you can take to untangle from your old identity and build a new one rooted in truth. Now that you've begun to see the roots of this never enough feeling, it's time to start writing a new story. One that doesn't revolve around shame or approval. One that's built on truth. But how? The first step is redefining where your worth comes from. Most people spend their lives chasing external validation. They think, if I just get the job, the money, the body, the relationship, then I'll finally feel worthy. But every time they reach a milestone, the satisfaction is temporary. The bar moves. The hunger stays. Why? Because worth that depends on achievement will always be fragile. Real self-worth isn't about what you do. It's about who you are. And who you are isn't a number in a bank account. It isn't how many people follow you or how productive you've been today. You're not a project to fix. You're a person to understand. And the more you start seeing yourself through this lens, the less power outside forces have over you. So ask yourself, what do I truly value? What kind of life feels meaningful to me? This isn't about being perfect. It's about being aligned. When you live by values, kindness, truth, curiosity, courage, you begin to build self-respect. Not because someone told you you're good, but because you know it inside. And that's where confidence grows, from integrity, not ego. Now, this change takes practice. You've spent years running a mental script that says, I'm not enough. You can't erase it overnight, but you can rewrite it. Slowly, repeatedly. Every time you notice yourself comparing to others, pause. Remind yourself, their path isn't my path. Every time you fail, pause. Ask, what can I learn from this? Every time you hear that voice saying you're not doing enough, pause. And speak back, I am allowed to rest. I am not a machine. I am a human being. Another powerful tool? Boundaries. When you feel unworthy, you let people cross your limits. You say yes when you mean no. You tolerate disrespect. But reclaiming your worth means honoring your space and your needs. It means understanding that saying no doesn't make you selfish, it makes you honest. And here's a secret. The more you honor your truth, the more the right people and opportunities align with you. Because worth is magnetic. Not in a flashy way, but in a quiet, grounded way. When you believe you're enough, you stop chasing what's not meant for you. You start attracting what is. This part of the journey is about becoming whole again by owning your story, not running from it. And in the next part, we'll dive deeper into how society feeds your self-doubt and how to protect your peace in a world that profits from your insecurity. If you've ever felt like the world is pushing you to become someone else, you're not alone. In fact, it's by design. Our modern world profits from your self-doubt. The beauty industry wants you to hate your body. Productivity gurus want you to think you're lazy. Social media shows you highlight reels and tells you that's real life. Every corner whispers, you're not enough. Unless you buy this, follow this, become this. But here's the truth, you were never broken. You are simply surrounded by a system that benefits when you forget your worth. Understanding this is powerful. Because once you see the machine, you can step out of it. You can stop chasing impossible standards. You can stop comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's staged performance. You can stop letting algorithms define your self-image. Reclaiming your worth in a world that constantly tries to strip it from you is an act of rebellion. It's not passive, it's not easy, but it's freedom. It starts with awareness. Every time you scroll past a post that makes you feel less than, ask, is this making me better or bitter? Every time you feel that inner panic that you're falling behind, remember, you're not late, you're on your own time. You don't owe the world a version of yourself that looks successful. You owe yourself a version of you that feels honest. Letting go of what you're supposed to be gives you space to become who you truly are. And that's where inner peace lives, not in perfection, but in presence. It lives in quiet mornings where you feel grateful for small things, in choosing rest over guilt, in forgiving your past and showing up anyway, in loving yourself when no one is watching. True self-worth isn't loud. It doesn't beg to be seen. It simply is. So what do you do now? You stop waiting for someone to tell you you're enough. You declare it yourself. You take the pressure off. You write your own story. You show up even if your voice shakes, even if you're still healing, even if you're afraid, because you're not behind. You're becoming. You don't need to earn your worth. You already have it. But it takes courage to stop chasing and start trusting. To stop looking outward and start looking within. This journey isn't about reaching some final destination where everything feels perfect. It's about building a relationship with yourself that's rooted in respect, not shame. Because once you stop believing the lie that you're not enough, everything changes. You stop proving. You start living. And maybe, for the first time, you breathe. If this message spoke to something inside you, consider supporting this channel. Leave a comment, share your thoughts or story. Like this video, it helps more people find it. Subscribe, and don't miss the next journey. Share with someone who needs this today. You're not alone in this. And you never were.